views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB-TV.
Whether she's walking the red carpet or doing interviews, you'll find her with celebrities and all the latest news. She's here, she's there, she's everywhere, she's always on the go. So sit back, relax, and get ready, 'cause it's the Corey Taylor Talks Show.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Corey Taylor Talks, live from Las Vegas. I am joined with Mr. Rich from Asylum and Hotel Fear, which, as you guys know, is one of my favorite haunted houses for years. I mean, we have a very long history, actually. I've known you guys since I was probably like 5 or 6. Oh, crazy times, but I love Asylum and Hotel Fear. It's truly one of the best haunted houses here in Vegas.
Thanks.
Both of them are just phenomenal, and the themes are so cool. So yes, why don't we talk right about it? So tell us about it.
It's a haunted house.
That's right.
Yes, we're one of the top haunted houses, not only just in Vegas, but in the country
Yeah.
itself, too. So the Asylum and Hotel Fear have been rated. We 21 years now, so we've been at it. So
Wow.
like I said, you were just a little
I was
a wee little child. Your mother dragging you through, and look
That's
what
right.
look what it's caused now.
I know. Chain reaction there.
There, exactly. So you've seen the growth over the years. We've had the same themes per se, a hotel and an asylum, but it's a storyline that's an intermixed storyline. So we had a story about the family of the hotel owner and the asylum and how that intertwined. So on our 20th anniversary last year, we upgraded the storyline and changed it a little bit so that we took that storyline and then moved it like 20 years in the future, what happened after the Fiore incident. And so now there's some government stuff going on in the asylum and some of the clandestine things and some experiments going on, and some of those experiments have gone awry, and people that are infected have now escaped out of the asylum, and they infected the people in the hotel. So we still have the interconnected storyline, but it's updated. So this year, kind of building on that theme again, we've created what we're calling Blackout. Other haunted houses have done that, so we're very detailed, and it's always well lit, and you've got all these different theatrical lightings and stuff. But in Blackout, you're going to actually have all those lights turned off. Your group gets one glow stick, and you must now navigate your way through the darkness with nothing but the glow stick. So
boy.
We've actually incorporated that into the storyline as well. So now there was the infection that happened at the asylum. We go like, well, how did this infection happen? Well, there was a power failure. There was a blackout. During that blackout, all the systems go down. All the containment fields and things go down. So the people that are infected, they get out. They infect other people. Those people leave the facility, end up going to the hotel. Again, back to the storyline. So now you're part of that story. As you know, we've always had it that, we're very theatrical,
Right.
and it is a story, and you are part of it. So in this case, we've taken it to that next level. So you're in there during the blackout. So the zombies are in there running around. So you have the only light source walking around. So they may want your light source. So you have to be careful, because not only do you have to navigate in there, but you could have a zombie come up there and just steal your light source from you. Then
really?
you're stuck in the total darkness.
Oh gosh, that's crazy.
Aren't you going to be excited to come through and go, yes?
No, but that's awesome. I like that. That's interesting. I haven't heard that before. That's
So
really cool.
it's always something. Like next year, the asylum, we keep the theme because the theme is so strong.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
and other haunted houses, they'll take a theme, and then they wear it out. I mean, they don't do any changes to the haunt, so they'll keep it the same, and then after a while it just becomes old, so you have to update, do something differently. Ours is a little different in that both themes are very strong, being from a hotel-based society that we are here.
Yes.
Having a hotel theme is lots of fun, and you can do a lot with it, but you have to keep updating it and changing it and making it fresh each year. So like actually next year, the asylum is getting a complete overhaul in the fact that these things are actually built in trailers and assembled, as you know from being there. So one day it's a parking lot at the Meadows Mall, and the next day there's like, where'd those buildings come from? They just kind of pop up out of the asphalt there.
Yeah.
So the Asylum buildings, the structures that are actually made in there, they were just getting a little on the old side. So next year we're gutting them, getting rid of them, and completely rebuilding
Oh, wow.
with all new facilities. So it'll still be the same theme, but it will be different. So those of you that like the Asylum, you may want to come this year because it'll be the last time to see it as it is.
That's cool.
Next year it'll
That's
be
exciting. Yeah, exciting.
looking forward to
change
it.
Absolutely. I just truly, I love you guys, and even we filmed Rust 2 and Rust 3.
Yep,
We're
this fall.
filming. It's all in there too, which is so cool, and I love that we were able to do that too, because I think that really kind of stood out that we actually got to film in actual haunted houses and such iconic haunted
I think it was your
houses.
contact that got that started.
I think
it
so.
was. We now have a mutual friend in Joe
Yes.
Lujan with Carcass Studios, and excellent guy. If you look at any of our videos and stuff that you see, that's actually Joe because of that connection. I think you got that connection.
I
It
think
was
so.
originally
Yeah.
it was like Joe wants to film someplace, and Corey's like, I know this haunted house. I might have contacts. If I can't go, my mom will make it happen.
Exactly.
Next thing you know, you're filming there, and a cool story because I think you asked for it when they filmed Rust 1, and we didn't know him. He's just a friend, and oh, sure, yeah, okay, fine. Film a little bit. So I'll be there on Wednesday. You can use the facility.
Yeah.
So I came in, filmed it, and that was it. It was like, thank you very much, and left. And months later, with the finished products there, it's this short film that you guys did, which was Rust, the original Rust. And I'm watching it, and at the end, the director's cut, and he's explaining it, and says, "Oh my gosh!" Says, we actually shot in a real haunted house. It was so spectacular. We didn't have to change any of the scenery and sets. It was awesome, but we only had like 6 hours,
Yeah.
so we were like rushing around. And when they were filming, it was like, okay, this room we have to film scene 7, 12, 14. 7's from this angle, 14's from that angle. Let's go. We got another one. And I called him up and I said, Joe, you only asked for one day.
Right.
You didn't say you needed more time. I would have given you more time. And so then he goes like, well, I'm glad you said that because Rust has taken off really well. We'd like to do a full-length movie and do Rust 2. So since then we've developed not only a good relationship there, but Joe's become a good friend too. And so now, like you said, Rust 1, which is on Prime Video and you can buy it at different places. Rust 2, Rust 3 is filming this fall.
Yeah.
So we're doing some cool stuff. I
Crazy.
think we want to do a promotion with the haunted house and Joe that you're gonna give away a contest type thing where you could win a walk-on part on Rust 3. So.
Oh, I didn't know this. That's cool. That's yes.
Surprise,
Heck
huh?
yeah, that's awesome.
So you'll have somebody, maybe one of your listeners will end
Yeah.
up winning and coming on there and you'll say, oh yeah, you get to act with me now.
That's right. That's right. No, yeah, we're he told me the storyline and everything. I'm so excited for it. Do you even know it?
Nope, not yet.
Oh, okay. It's really cool. I'm really stoked about it. Oh, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, and for your listeners, is a little inside tip. Joe Lujan is he's just a brilliant little film director, and
See.
he's going to be. I mean, you're going to see him in the future. You're going to be
Absolutely.
walking the Hollywood. He'll forget who we are, but anyway.
I know.
Once he's rich and famous,
Well,
but
we have him on video, so
that's
we're,
true.
We're
We
gonna
can prove
blackmail
that we do know him, but
that's right.
yeah. But as well as he is, he's always terrified of the haunted houses. It cracks me up.
He is the biggest chicken.
He's the biggest chicken.
Oh
Corey
my
brings him to
God.
the haunt and drags him through there, and he gets upset. And I'm going like, Joe, you filmed there. You're there for hours, and you're in the dark and doing these horror movies, and you're afraid of a haunted house. And he's like, it's different. There's people in there.
Well, see, it's also kind of my fault too, because when we were filming, because I've been in the haunted houses for years, I know how to like pop out of the certain places and everything, so I kind of scarred him a little bit while we were filming too. So, but he deserves it. It's
He
okay.
does.
He did a lot of stuff to us.
It's really hard when you're in the haunted house business and you're in the haunted house not to do that. I mean, yesterday we had all of our inspections, so now we're ready to go. So I have all these fire inspectors running around and doing their job, and of course one of my actors was there just doing some work on painting a new door or something, and so she couldn't help it. They were there. She went into one of the rooms, and because the one inspector was making some cracks about the haunted house and how it shouldn't be scary and everything. So we went around the corner during the inspection, and all of a sudden a drop panel came down with this large scream, and I thought the inspector was going to fill his shorts because he had this. Okay, I got to admit, you got me on that one.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's a good time.
It is, and that's so cool. Like, it's fun to be scared, and really your sets and everything are just out of this world, and I'm so excited too for the new one next year. I can't even imagine what you guys will do, but I mean, it's just really, your sets are incredible. The actors you have are so dedicated. I mean, really everything about it is phenomenal.
Yeah, we're different on that, and again, we're an all-volunteer cast,
right.
And some people look at that and they'll go like, all volunteers? Why is it volunteers? We tried paid cast like 2 different years over the 20 years, and we just didn't get the caliber of people that we wanted. When you're doing that, it's unfortunate, but too many of the individuals were just there for the paycheck, and when you're paying minimum wage for something like a temporary event like that, you can't pay them a lot, and so they just, okay, when's my next break?
Right.
That was it. The people that we have are dedicated. They've been there. They've been there for years.
Yeah.
And when we have our auditions, we'll have a group of them. We go around and say, if you're associated with us, how long have you been here? And it's all 15 years, 17 years, 12 years, 10 years.
That's awesome.
We've watched them grow up. We've had people that have actually met in the haunted house, and now they've gotten married, and now we have our first couple of haunt babies. So,
That's so cool.
little Bella was over at the house, and her mom still brings her over, so she's like, she's our haunt granddaughter,
That's right.
and just because of the haunted house. But those people that are involved, they're there because they really love it, they enjoy it, and it's not a job for them. We do a whole lot of stuff for our cast, as you know, so they're compensated, but not just as a paycheck. We do things where it keeps them together as a group. So in the off season, we do a lot of activities. We take them to Cowabunga Bay. We take them to Battle Blast laser tag. We go to all these different fun events and things as a group. So then again, they're bonding. So companies will turn around and take their employees to things like that as a bonding type of situation. So we get companies will bring them to haunted houses to bond. Our people are already bonding there, so
That's right.
so we have to take them to their businesses to bond them afterwards. But it creates that cast family atmosphere. So our cast get together throughout the whole year. So they are friends, they are family, and it shows because of the level of intensity and what they put forth out there. It's a good product.
It is. It's a great product. I mean, really, and like you said, and because we film there a lot and everything, I've met all the people outside too, and they're really great people. They're really cool people, and they're all very nice. And it's like a big family. But then a few hours later, they'll scare the hell out of you. So it's a great balance.
It's what they do.
It's so cool. It's just really so much fun. And like I said, the set's truly phenomenal. And so 21 years. That's
20,
crazy.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought, but we've outlasted everybody. It's like
That's right.
Over the years, fire departments and different entities have had to come up and change things as you go along. Being a temporary event, every time you set up, then you have to go by the new rules. Where some businesses, once you've done your initial inspections, you're grandfathered in. If things change, it doesn't matter. You're already inspected. We don't. So new rule comes over, we have to abide by it. So there were years when like whole emergency systems had to be replaced. And you're talking $30,000-$40,000 just for that.
Right.
And you have to put that in, or you don't open. So so over the years, the good part is that the attractions that are there's us and then one of the other guys in town that's been with us about that long too. We've always adapted, and we've always just, if there's rules are there, give us the rules, we abide by them. So we have a very, very safe attraction.
Yes.
That's the fire department actually. Last year, and they're finishing off this year, they're actually using our haunted house as a training video. So they actually came in and filmed my inspections, and they filmed, like last year I had 18 fire inspectors in my attraction. And I'm going like, this is getting ridiculous. I mean, haunted house owners, you always say, what scares you? And they said, there's only one thing that scares a haunted house owner. That's the guy in the uniform with that badge that says fire inspector. That's the only thing that scares us. Because, he's the only guy that can actually shut you down. Anybody else that, I scare them, but he scares me. So having 18 of them running around the haunt last year was a little much, but they used that to film it because we've just developed such a good reputation that the fact that we're always on point and we always have whatever's necessary. So now future people in the city of Las Vegas, any fire inspector goes over there, he's going to be watching the videotape that features our haunted house, showing you this is how it's supposed to be done.
That's awesome.
So there's a couple things that we do that's different, that's not even code, but we do because it makes sense and it's more safe. So that fire departments actually looked at us and said, I think we want to adapt some of your rules, to what other haunted houses will do now, because it's just safety is a big issue. I mean, we're putting people through in the dark and we're scaring them, but considering that, I mean, we have very, very few accidents or problems. The only time we get somebody hurt is usually when they turn around and run into each other, so.
Yeah.
He's like, did he hurt? No, he ran into his sister. Sorry.
No, but it is incredibly safe, and I think that's important to a lot of people to know that even though it's fun to be scared, you don't actually want to have your life in danger.
Exactly.
And that's not the case with this way. It's just really, it's very safe, and like I said, we film there, so we see everything with the lights on and the daylight, and you can tell it's very safe. Yeah,
it's a show, and you get people every year that'll come in, they go like, oh, well, scare me, or you get somebody comes in, they go like, well, I wasn't scared. It's like, seriously. I mean, it was a parking lot a couple weeks ago, and all of a sudden, boom, there's these buildings that have popped up, and it's dark, there's actors in there, they can't touch you, there's going to be a chainsaw because you've been listening to it for a half hour in line, and then they go, scare me. And I'm going like, well, we can startle you, we can entertain you, which is what we try and do, but to really scare you, it would be difficult. I said a good analogy is if I told you when you get off work tonight, say you get off work 9, 10 o'clock at night, sometime between the door of your employer there and your car, I'm going to be waiting out in your parking lot somewhere with a chainsaw. Now, if I tell you that ahead of time, you're not going to be scared. You'll be startled, but you're going to walk out looking, going like, okay, where's he at? But if I don't tell you anything, and I just happen to stop by where you work, and I wait and jump out of the bush with a chainsaw at 10 o'clock at night, you will be scared. That's kind of the difference, Right. You go into the haunted house knowing that they're going to be there. So again, you still have the adrenaline going, you still have that rush, which is the fun part, but it's still safe. You're not the killer's not going to really kill you.
Exactly.
Although in the bad movie, for business.
They did, but not in real life.
Yeah. Go watch Rust.
Exactly. You can see how it can turn out. But no, you guys, it's very, very safe, and it's fun. It is scary though. Like it's fun. It's the actors, they're, like I said, just phenomenal. You guys are like a great family, and they're really cohesive and work together. And even sometimes if you tell them your names, it might show up throughout the house.
Yeah, they've done that on occasions.
Yeah.
It gets bad when, you're sitting there going, instead of somebody screaming at you or yelling something, they start yelling, Corey!
Yeah.
Corey! By the time you get out, your name is scary.
That's right. No, but it's just so much. There's lots of, like you said, you always seem to change it up and always do something different with it every year, and it's never exactly the same. It's always something. There's always
small changes. We like to, there's certain rooms that we'll look at and go like, how can we update this room, or how can we do a different scare, and so that way there's always some little changes, and then every year I'll get people that they see me stand out front and they'll come up and say, oh, I love the change you did to this room, or then they come up and go, why'd you take that room out? That was my favorite room, So it's kind of like when you go to Disneyland and you see the Haunted Mansion and stuff. It's pretty much the same year after year after year. So you go there wanting that experience, but then again, you still want a little change or a little different so that it heightens your experience. But you still want that familiar, because you're going to take friends over that maybe have never gone. And so part of it, you want to see them being scared, So one year I had a guy standing out front and he was telling his friends, I've worked haunted houses, so stick with me and I'll show you where all the scares are coming from. And I was trying to get over to him to kind of tell him, no, don't do that. Right. Instead, I got pulled away. They went into the building. So they come running out, and I see him. So the guy comes up to me, and he says, do you work here? And I said, well, sort of. And he says, yeah, I worked at haunted houses, and I was telling my friends. And I said, yeah, I overheard you. I said, why would you do that? I mean, you're going to scare it. You ruin it for everybody. Well, just watch them being scared. He goes, well, let me tell you what happened, all right? So I line up everybody, and I tell them, follow me. I know where the scares are going to come from. He goes, so we line up in the room, and I lined them all up for the scare. And then it came from over here.
That's right.
So then we get to the next room, and I lined them all up where I thought the scare was coming from, and it came from behind us. And by the third room, I got that one wrong too. He goes, my friend said, oh, just shut up. Just
Exactly.
forget it. And he goes, I didn't get one room right, and I said, well, that's what we do, we
Yep.
go into a room and design it that way of where was the scare in the previous room, where's the scare in the next room, what have we done, what haven't we done, where would you expect to be scared from, why would you put it there, and then every once in a while maybe we do put it there just
Right.
because you're not looking for it. And so those are a lot of the things that go into the design, and that's the fun part we're looking for next year is to bring some of those new designs and stuff to the updated Asylum.
Yeah. And really, even like it's true. Like every little detail about it is really like it's incredible, and it's so realistic, and like it's amazing. It's just out of this world. Truly, you guys just go above and beyond.
Well, we have an advantage in that I think we have like the best of both worlds because we're a temporary attraction, but yet we're in the trailers is what they're set up in. So they're a permanent structure that is then moved to the location set up. So we are able to put layers and layers of details and things in where if you have a temporary event, because like not in our market so much, but in other markets, haunted houses will rent space in say a shopping mall or something, and then they have to bring in everything. So they have to bring in all the walls, all the set pieces, put in the emergency systems, bring in the airlines. They have to do all of that. So there's just so much you can do in a time frame. Ours with having the same and not changing up the theme per se, but keeping that, we're able to add layers and layers of details. If you really walk through the haunts and look for small details, there's little tiny things that, in the doctors, there's a doctor's wall there with his certificates on there, and if you looked, the name and the universities that he graduated on these certificates match the storyline. If you're in the hotel, you're sitting there and you've got details. You're in the kitchen and there's a bulletin board, and you look, there's small recipe stuck up on the bulletin board, a postcard from an employee that went on vacation.
Wow.
These little tiny details that we're able to add those layers. I teach and I write articles for the industry, so we're actually well known, not even just in Vegas but everywhere. So one of the articles I wrote a couple years ago was called Designing for the Third Eye, and that was the details that you put into a haunt, because if you walk into a room and it's not right, you don't know why, but you just know it's not right. And so if you do have that feeling, then you feel like, okay, something, this isn't really a bedroom, this isn't really a hotel, you have that feeling. So then it's harder to scare you or make it work because you don't feel like you're really in that environment. But if you put in all those layers of details that your eye catches those details, you may not think you do, but you do, and then it just makes it real. Everyone always comes out going like, those are really trailers. Get out of here. Seriously. I really felt like I was in the building. I really felt like it was an old hotel. I really felt it was a hospital. So once you're there, then it ends up being able to heighten your senses because you're not looking for flaws. We're designed that way, and this is some of the stuff that goes into the design of the haunted house. You work on your different fears and phobias and things, but that's what we're designed for. We look for patterns so that to protect ourselves. That's something that's inbred. So I always use an example. How many times have you picked up a sheet of paper, a whole text, and you just automatically look at it and you go, oh, they spelled that word wrong. It's like,
right.
How'd you know that? You didn't read the whole thing. But your eye was drawn to a problem, a mistake. Right. And so if you design a room wrong, or if you don't have those details, same thing. Your eye's going to be drawn to something, and then you're not paying attention because you're focused on the fact that, well, that doesn't really look real. That you wouldn't have that in a bathroom, right. And so we try and take that away so that it makes it easier for the actors, and they enjoy that part.
Yes. No, and I have to say too, we saw them in storage a couple times. You're just like, what? You're like, that's like because it's like a regular trailer, and then it's amazing how you guys transform them, and in such a short amount of time too. It's just like it's the trailers to a building. Yeah,
it goes up pretty quick. And one of our rooms we have, it's kind of a signature room. It's called the White Room, and
yes.
But won't go into too many details, but it's a white room. As you walk in, you can't see anything, and then people come out there going like, "Oh my God, that room!" So I always say, "How big is it? How do you?" I was like, "Oh my God, it's huge. We were in there for a half hour. We couldn't get out." And I was like, "Well, it's exaggeration," but but they're in there for a long time, and they can't find their way out. And then finally, I've taken people in. I think you've even seen it where you walked in like, this is the White Room.
Exactly.
This is seriously, it's this big,
right.
And you're going like, how could I have been lost in here for 10 minutes? It's like, it's not that big. And I go, well, when you're walking along at like 1 inch increments, right. It can take you a while to get out of there. Yeah. But it's what happens when you're scared.
Yeah, even we passed it, and I was like, I don't remember this part, and I was like, Oh my god! I was like, this is the right room. I was like, oh my gosh, because it feels like this whole room is just ginormous.
Yeah, and then people go like, seriously, I was scared of that. So yeah, we'll get that a lot of times when you take people through on a private tour or something, and we're actually going to try and do something like that this year too. I want to do something like let people videotape themselves scaring somebody, like Jimmy Kimmel does all that. Videotaping you saying you ate all their candy,
Right.
But you'll see it on YouTube a lot where people scare somebody and then they videotape it. Everybody likes to do that. I mean, we all like to scare people. Let's face it.
Right.
So we may do something like that with a contest. We'll have one where you can videotape you scaring somebody, send it in, and then if you win, then you get not only you will get VIP tickets to the haunted house, but then I want to give them a behind the scenes tour. Because it's kind of, you do get a lot of people. I mean, it is popular. You go to Disneyland and stuff, to be able to get a behind the scenes tour of any kind of an attraction is usually pretty cool. Most people don't get to do it. I mean,
Right.
I've been able to actually do behind the scenes of, like, the Tower of Terror and the Haunted Mansion and things. So you get to, creep in there behind and see how things work. And then, it's funny, you're going through the Haunted Mansion and looking and saying, oh yeah, their stuff breaks and they just fix it and leave the parts there, just like we do.
Right.
It is like a real haunted house, and it is. The coffin was broken, and you could see broken parts inside where they fixed it real quick and just had to leave it because they fixed it before the next group came through. So we go, that's like a real haunted house.
How cool!
So yeah, we want to do that and maybe get people behind the scenes, because we've had people talk about that. They've always said, like, it's cool to see it, but would it be cool to see how it, the peek behind the curtain and see how the magic happens? So
I agree.
You've been able to do that, so
that's what I was gonna say. It is so cool to actually see it like that, and because that's how we filmed Russ.
Yeah.
we had to do it when it was all down and everything in between at night and the daytime, and it was just so different and so cool to see how everything worked exactly like you said. It's an amazing
Joe
experience.
did a wonderful job in doing filming Russ and stuff. We were worried about that it was just going to be too much of a filming and giving away the haunted house,
Right.
and he really didn't. He did such a good job. So I've always told people, if you want to see kind of what the haunted house looks like, well, then watch the movie. It's not going to deteriorate from it, because
Right.
you're not going to actually see the haunted house per se. It was used as a set in a movie in that context, and he used different angles and things to make it look cool. So it's just good, because you say, how detailed is your haunted house? Well, it was detailed enough that it was, a movie, and he was great, because he says, I didn't even have to do anything on the set. So I think I actually get credit as a set designer.
You go.
So
there you go. Exactly. That's it.
I'm now a movie set designer. Oh, cool.
Very cool. But yes, but okay, so where can people go and buy the tickets, follow you guys, keep up to date with all the different events you're doing?
We're everywhere. Best LasVegasHaunts.com or even LVHaunts.com, and we've got tickets are available there. Tickets are available on site. Blackout is only going to be on select dates, so we're not doing it every night. So you need to go to the website and check out. I think we're doing about four different dates, so we're kind of making it special, see if it works.
Yeah.
I think you can get discount coupons and tickets if you go to Boost Mobile, Smith's Food King, Green Valley Grocers, Sonics. So those are different places you'll see our posters, and you'll see information, and it all pushes you back to the website. And it'll be selected days. We're open Thursdays through Sundays, and then that last week of Halloween. So it's remember, we're only here that short period of time.
Yeah.
So you keep saying, I'll do it next week, I'll do it next week. So pretty soon then it's, oh yeah, well, they're gone now. It's a parking lot again.
It's true. Yeah.
And I've had people pull up and go, what happened to the haunted house?
Yeah.
It's gone.
It's
back in the dark,
over.
and now the asylum is really gone.
That's right. No, but it is so cool, and everyone should absolutely go out and do. Especially, people have traveled to go to here, but I mean,
day.
especially if you're in Vegas and you're lucky enough to be in it, absolutely come down.
No, we're putting a separate lane in this year, because we get so many Uber and taxis dropping people off from all over.
Yeah.
They'll come specifically because I teach in the industry and we're well known outside of it. I've had cast members that go on vacations and stuff, and they talk about, what do they do? I work at the Asylum and Hotel Fear, and they're, really, you do? You know Rich Strelak? And they're like, you know him? And it's like, well, yeah, we've heard of that haunted house. So we're known in Vegas, and we're known across the country. So that's why our cast is very proud of that.
Oh yeah, and they should be. And thank
So
you
come in
so
there, get
much.
scared, and you'll see why they're that good.
Yes, Yeah, it is so much fun. It's so scary, and it's just a great time. So thank you so much for being on. It was
anytime.
great having
And
you.
we'll see you in the
Yes.
darkness filming Rust 3.
That's right. I will be there. I'm excited. And thank you guys so much for watching. Please go check it out. Buy tickets. It's such a great time. And do the contest that you guys are planning on doing, maybe
Behind the
scenes. So yes, so check everything out. Thank you guys so much for watching. And remember, never give up, always believe, and you'll achieve. Thank you and God bless.
Emergency lockdown! Everybody, quickly, go through the gate!
It's too quiet in here. I don't like this.
I don't think you. Oh no. Oh no.
God. No.
Oh. Oh no.
Don't get infected. Better hurry
Let's do this.
You and the litter. Keep moving. Keep moving before you become infected.
I don't like this at all. This is fucking horrible. I hate this shit. Ah! God damn it! Do not touch my body! Do not touch my body! Oh, God! Oh, fuck. Who's gonna be next?
Hold on a
Not
minute,
me!
hold on a
Not me! Oh, what are you doing?
Okay, guys.
Who's gonna be? Eating, meaty, mighty, mo! How about you?
Oh my god.
It burn! Hey,
Oh, I don't like this.
whoa.
Oh my god. Ow! Ow!
Oh my god!
Oh my god, just go down!
Fucking shit.
Are you gonna help me? Are you gonna make this man stop?
No, I'm not.
I almost
Please
broke my
stop.
finger!
Why'd you?
Oh no!
God damn it! Oh my god, there's someone behind you! Oh god, I hate this shit.
I don't know.
Oh my god. Oh, fuck this shit. Oh, hell no.
Oh. Oh.
She's gonna get you! She's gonna get you! And so am I!
I can't walk.
Which one of you is it?
I think it's him.
No, it's not me. It's not me.
Smell infection. No.
It's him.
Ah! What are you gonna do?
It's you. Go that way.
I knew
Left
it.
arm. Zulu, you wait.
Oh no.
I'm by myself.
No!
You're free. Go.
What?
Oh.
Hurry.
No!
That's all you.
Joe!
Hurry before the infection spreads.
Oh
I'm by myself.
You. Follow
Ah!
me.
I don't like this. I don't like this.
no! Oh no! Ah!
Shut your mouth and follow me. Oh my god.
Oh no!
Ah! God damn it!
Oh no!
Over here. Ah! Oh my god, it's you!
Round and round we go.
Oh, I thought it. Wait, no, that was where I came in from.
No!
Wrong way. It's over here.
Oh no! I don't trust
Here,
him!
Waldo.
Oh my god.
I'll show you the way.
Hold your hands out!
Yeah, but I don't want to touch anyone.
Oh. You got it?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet jeez.
Dude, that was horrible. Can we just put this up?
Where'd she go? Where'd she go?
We totally left the camera crew in there.
Are you gonna ring it? Do it.
I have entered Hotel Fear. More killed everyone!
Oh no.
Mine! I'll cook you up! I'll make you into food! When you close the door, I'll use your fingers to stir my tea! You'll become sausage! You'll make a nice meal!
Remember this room? I remember this room. Shit!
Oh my god. I don't like the music,
Neither
Jeff.
do I actually. That's good. Oh hell no! No, Corey, you go. I don't like this.
I don't
It's so different. Like when you're actually walking it. Like we've shot in these rooms before. And it's like,
No.
oh god.
You're not supposed to be here! You're supposed to be looking for room 13. This way. Check the doors. All the doors!
You guys, I'm so sorry, I'm screaming like crazy, I'm so sorry. I can't see, like, anything. What's up, dude? What's up? Ah! Ah! God damn it! Fuck! Shit, get out of here. Fuck. Oh, he's gonna like chase me. Oh god. No. Vanished. Ah! God damn it!
Sweet. Oh, God.
God damn it!
Check the doors.
Oh shit, this one.
Doors.
Sorry. I didn't even see what that was. God don't.
Joe,
What?
You didn't take those doors. Those doors. The left door, the left door.
No, it's all locked.
You're lying?
yes, just go.
It's all locked.
Just go.
This one has a wall.
It's a wall?
Yes.
No, try that one.
Catch me! Ah! God damn it. It's all locked.
Oh.
I can. What do you? Y'all. Stop.
What's the mean?
Oh.
Oh, good going.
Hey! Ah! God damn it! Damn it! Oh shit! Corey, you're choking me.
I like totally destroyed your house.